Week number 6 of the NFL season is in the books, so we begin the next episode of our Steal a Player series. If you're new, how it works is every team that won gets to steal a player from the team that they beat. The only rule is that they must trade a number 1 starter for a number 1 starter. Let's begin with the Thursday night game. The Chiefs took care of the Broncos 19-8. Now they lost Mahomes a while ago, but since week 1, they have not lost a game. So the roster's still pretty solid, and I tried my hardest to find a position that they could upgrade in, so they're just gonna add something that they don't have at all, which is a fullback. Michael Burton gonna be the new FB in KC. Justin Tucker with 6 field goals for the Ravens. They take care of the Titans in London 24-16. Now they don't have Lamar anymore. Herbert is their quarterback, and we're gonna get him a nice wide receiver to throw to. Ravens have a good secondary, so they're not gonna take Byard. How about DeAndre Hopkins, who still passes the eye test? Zay Flowers, highest overall for the Ravens. He's playing well, but Hopkins is one of the best of our generation. He's headed to Baltimore. The Commanders caught the W over the Falcons 24-16. One look at Arthur Smith, and yeah, you can see how the fourth quarter went for ATL. Meanwhile, Washington has a pretty big hole in their offense. You can say there's almost a big pit that they need to fill. Kyle is the man for the job. We're gonna upgrade Washington's tight end, 19 overalls. Logan Thomas is headed to the Falcons. Before we keep going, we have 2 brand new members here at the Bird's Nest. Seth Morlock at level 1 and Matt Gill, hopefully I pronounced that right, at level 2. Thank you guys for the support. Minnesota with another win. They're up to 2-4 in the season, 19-13 over Chicago. No Jefferson in real life or in this series, but they're actually gonna add to their defense. Scary Terry would be nice, but that's only a 1 overall upgrade over Evans. So while Simba has been balling, he had a great game for the Vikings. You can't pass up a 10 overall boost at MLB. Edmonds is now in Minnesota. Cincinnati all of a sudden starting to look really solid. They win another one, 17-13 against the Seahawks. Now they no longer have Joe Burr, but talk about the perfect scenario when you can take one of the few quarterbacks that might be better than him. Patrick Mahomes headed from Seattle to the Bengals. In return, Watson is headed to the Seahawks. The Browns might have the best defense in the league. Their quarterback PJ Walker threw 2 interceptions, and they beat the juggernaut San Francisco 49ers 19-17. Myles Garrett and his team are above 500, and they're looking pretty scary. Speaking of scary, the Niners roster finally is going to lose one of these 96 and above overall players, man. And it's actually going to be their best player, in my humble opinion, Christian McCaffrey. Cleveland lost Nick Chubb for the season. He's in free agency right now, so you know what? They have a huge hole at a running back. Run CMC is going to fill that quite nicely. The Dolphins are tied with the best record in the league. At 5-1, they continue their winning ways, 42-21 over the 0-6 Panthers. Another team that doesn't have too many weaknesses on it. They just took Saquon last week, and now they're going to upgrade their tight end position. Hayden Hurst, 80 overall. Good speed, good hands. Good chance he balls out for Miami. The Jaguars might have gotten their swagger back. They're up to 4-2 in the season. They beat division rival Indy 37-20. Vaughn, the newest addition to their defense, and they're going to keep on adding to that front 7. Aaron Donald would be a nice addition, but he plays at the same position as Vaughn. They're happy with the way Lawrence is playing, so they're not going to take Lamar. And ETN has been balling, so they're not taking JT. It came down to Shaq Leonard and Buckner, and they already have Josh Allen that left out. So it ended up being divorced that they're going to steal from the Colts. Hamilton is headed to Indy. A lot of people thought the Texans would be the worst team in the league, but after 6 weeks, they're sitting at 500. They win 20-13 over the New Orleans Saints. CJ Stroud is balling, so they're going to stay put at quarterback. Instead, they're going to get a nice boost on the defensive side of football by adding a guy known as Demario Davis. Big upgrade at the MLB position. You get a guy with X Factor. Harriman is headed to New Orleans. The Raiders, led by Josh McDaniels, get revenge on his former team, the New England Patriots, 21-17. Jacobs is going to get a nice addition to his offensive line because there's not many amazing players left on New England. Island. Best option had to be Mike Onwenu. They're going to upgrade 14 overalls at right guard. The Jets with one of the biggest upsets of the season so far. They beat my Eagles 20-14. And don't look now, but they're at 500, staying in the playoff race. And Rodgers is already throwing the football. Now they have a lot of players they could take from this Eagles team, but the highest overall and arguably the best at his position in the league, right tackle Lane Johnson, is who they're going to snag. Mekhi Becton headed to Philadelphia. They go up 22 overalls. The Rams caught the W 26-9 over division rival Arizona. Cooper Kupp continues to ball out, and their offense is looking pretty good, so why not upgrade their defense? Best player on Arizona right now is Dre Greenlaw, and while you don't always have to take the best player available, this one does make a lot of sense, man. You go up nice 12 overalls at right out and improve that front seven. The Detroit Lions have the best record in the league. They are sitting at 5-1 after beating the Buccaneers 20-6 on the road. Jared Goff is quietly putting together an MVP type season. He should be in consideration. Their offense is firing on all cylinders. Amon-Ra, one of the best in the league. So once again, let's help out Hutchinson and that defense. Jefferson would be nice, but you're not trading St. Brown. Montgomery's been balling, so you're not snagging Derrick Henry. Those seem like luxury picks, you know what I'm saying? But that D-line could use a little bit of help. Vita Vea on his way to Detroit. The Bills hold on to beat the Giants 14-9. Diggs continues to eat for Buffalo. Once again, another team that's going to add to their defensive front seven. Waller would be solid, but they have Knox and Kincaid. They're chilling at tight end. So they're going to go with Bobby at MLB, 12 overall boost. And then our final game of week 6. Last night, the Cowboys won a thriller against the Chargers 20-17. Dak bounced back, looked pretty good. Gilmore with the game ceiling INT, and he's gonna get a nice addition to his defense. A lot of good options from the Chargers. Surtain would be replacing Gilmore, so they're not gonna take him. Instead, after losing their right outside linebacker Micah Parsons a few weeks ago, they're gonna once again get a stud at right out in the form of Joey Bosa. I've assigned the appropriate force wins for week 6. So now after all the movement, we are headed into week 7 with some big matchups, but we're gonna sim to the Super Bowl and see who would make it if the roster stayed like this for the rest of the season. In the NFC Championship game, we had the Niners get revenge on the Eagles 20-17. Purdy leads his team over Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the Jaguars take care of the Bengals in the AFC Championship game 35-13. Lawrence outplays Mahomes in Cincy and helps Jacksonville get to the big game. ETN was balling, Zay Jones and company. So we have them versus the Niners. Prescott has been killing it in all these sims, leading the league in passing yards in almost every single one. You guys can slow it down, pause if you want to see the stats in more detail. He also led the league in passing touchdowns, had a really good ratio, only threw 6 interceptions. Jacobs had the most rushing yards, 35 more than McCaffrey on his new team Cleveland. Bijan in the top 10. Things you love to see. If he does that in real life, he's going to be in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Most rushing touchdowns went to DeAndre Swift in Philadelphia. Cooper Kupp back to the top of the leaderboards in terms of receiving yards, at least. There's everyone that got 1,000 plus. And then CeeDee Lamb had the most receptions. Olave was second. Cooper Kupp was tied for third, man. You don't see him not at the top in that category too often, but he did have 2 out of 3. Most receiving touchdowns by a lot. He had 19 to lead everyone. On defense, Simba on his new team Chicago led the league in tackles. Bond had 20 sacks on the Jaguars. Hutchinson 19.5. You get him some help on the D-line. You can't double team him as much, and he starts balling even more. 10 INTs for Lattimore. Warner second with 9, and then a couple guys with 6. Dak wins MVP again. Tua ends up second. Lamar third on the Colts. OPOY goes to Najee on the Steelers. DPOY OPOY goes to Vaughn. Hutchinson wins it in the NFC, and Cooper Kupp wins OPOY. Doug Peterson has been here before, and he won. A lot of the Niners players have been here, but they ended up losing. Let's see what happens in this one. Lawrence on his first pass finds his receiver. Touchdown Jacksonville. Kadarius Toney. All he does is make big plays in Super Bowls. Kansas City stole Calvin Ridley, I believe. In return, they had to send Kadarius to Jacksonville, and he's out here balling. How in the world does Purdy and this offense respond? No more McCaffrey. Remember, Elijah Mitchell shaking off a tackle, but he loses a yard. But Purdy has some abilities, so I'm guessing his passing game has been pretty good as well. 3rd and 11. They're gonna have to be really good to keep the chains moving. Purdy fumbles it. Jaguars scoop and score. They're up 14 points already. What a start for the Jaguars. Buckner, the newest addition, with the touchdown. It was Josh Allen off the edge, making the play. Now there's still plenty of time left in this one. Niners get a touchdown on their very next drive. Jaguars get a field goal, so they're still up multiple possessions. We're headed into the second half, and the Niners strike in the 3rd quarter. They end up tying the game up in the 4th. Jacksonville, from about 52 yards away, gonna take the lead. Purdy needs to drive down the field, get his team in field goal range. He has 1 minute and 47 seconds to make it happen. One timeout. There's Kareem Hunt out of the backfield, who they just got from Cleveland. He still has some juice. Jaguars send a blitz. Ayuk with the catch. 1 minute and 11 left in this one. Purdy with another dot. Look at Debo making a nice move. He's out of bounds at the 24. Oh, never mind. He didn't get out of bounds, so the clock continues to tick. Bunch to the right. Man coverage. Purdy running for his life. He's getting sacked out of field goal range, and he fumbles the ball. Doug Peterson does it again. Wins his 2nd Super Bowl of his career. Lawrence is a Super Bowl champion. Von Miller wins another one. The Jaguars take care of the Niners in a thriller. And there you have it, man. Another episode of our Steal a Player series. Please like the video. Can we get the 500 likes? I would love if we can do that, man. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I'll see you guys on the next one.